Hey there, my friend, this is Paul Hutchings, and I want to welcome you to this video. And right at the onset, I want to tell you who this video is going to be for. If your sole focus in business is to just make money and make a profit, this video might not be for you. However, if your focus in business is to help as many people as you possibly can and make the largest amount of money and profit in your business, then this video might be for you. And I'll preface it by saying that I don't have all the answers, right? We're all learning and growing here. However, it seems to me that what I'm about to talk about is an important topic to think about in your business, and I believe that it is one that might be a little controversial, because there's a lot of differing ideas on what we're going to talk about in this video. But I also believe that this topic, if we handle it properly, can allow us who are students of this information to go forth in the marketplace and make the most amount of money that we possibly can, and at the same time impact and affect and influence the greatest number of people. And I know that because you're still watching this video, you fall into that category of entrepreneur. You want to help people, and you want to help as many people as you can while making the largest amount of money that you can, right? So if that's you, you're in the right place at the right time, you're watching the right video, and I want to invite you to just tune in for the next few minutes as I share with you some things that I'm learning and some things that I think are very beneficial and will be very beneficial to your business. So the topic that I want to discuss right now is a little word called diplomacy. I remember first getting introduced to this topic through Jim Rohn. He did a training program on diplomacy, and I remember Jim saying there's something to be said for diplomacy. And I was reminded of this topic today through some interactions that I've had in my business, and so I thought it might be a good time to visit this topic a little bit to see if we can understand it a little bit more. What is diplomacy? And I actually looked it up on the dictionary. It's one of the definitions is skill in handling affairs without arousing hostility. Skill in handling affairs without arousing hostility. And what the standpoint I want to come at this from is this standpoint of be yourself no matter what, right? A lot of times in business we hear things like just be yourself no matter what. Just be who you are. And I actually heard it today, you know, be who you are, and the people who are meant to follow you and join you, they will join in, and everyone else won't, and you'll be successful. And I think there's a lot of truth to that statement. However, there's some other things that I think we might want to consider. There are some things I believe that we might not want to just throw out on the table. You know, talk about this. Introduce another idea here, this word called balance, which I almost don't even like to say, because there was an individual in my circle of influence that would always say this word balance, but I believe he had an incorrect definition of the word balance. Balance in its true sense, in its true definition, I believe is a life principle that we should be aware of. You know, there's balance in nature. Sun comes up in the morning, we've got daylight, goes down in the evening, we've got nighttime. There's perfect balance there. You get down to the construction of an atom, and you've got protons and electrons, right? Balance. You've got positive forces and negative forces, balance. So there is balance. And one of the things with balance that I've noticed in business is that balance is, we as human beings, I should say, sometimes tend to be on this pendulum, where balance might be in the center of the pendulum, but we get too far one way, and then we realize we need to adjust, and then we go all the way to the other side, and then we go all the way back, and we're just like sometimes going back and forth on the, you know, complete opposite sides of the spectrum. Give you one example. With the advent of the internet in the home business profession, there was this idea that old school is out, you know, talking to people is out, talking to people on the phone is out, we're doing it all through technology, we're not going to build, you know, relationships per se like they did in the, you know, old traditional ways, and we're going all the new school, all the technology, right? So the pendulum, and the old school marketers, they hated that, right? They're like, no, new school is bad. And the new schoolers are like, no, old school is bad. Well, the reality, in my opinion, is they're opposite sides of the pendulum. Old school is over to one side, new school is over to one side, and the truth, where the best benefit to the greatest number of people is going to be provided is I believe in the center, right? Where we use the best, we use what works from, you know, old school, new school, and we have some balance, right? And we balance that pendulum. Reason I bring this up is because it relates directly to what I'm about to talk about in terms of diplomacy. There's this other concept that I see out there in the marketplace, and I hear it a lot in the company that I'm in. The company that I'm in does, one of the things that I love is they do a great job of teaching people to be themselves. Be yourself, they say. Be who you are. Don't worry so much about what other people think. And I love that because I believe for a long time in the marketplace, we have been out of balance with that. We've been so far over to the left side of the pendulum where we in business have been taught that, you know, to be successful, you've got to speak a certain way, you've got to act a certain way, you've got to dress a certain way, your hair's got to be a certain way. And I think we were so far out of balance that message was so needed in the marketplace. We needed to hear from people, it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be who you are. And so what's happened, my personal opinion, is that pendulum swung to the center, and what we have to be careful of is that pendulum will swing too far over. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me give you just kind of a crazy example. Be myself, right? Sometimes when I take a shower, when I take a bath, I'm not wearing any clothes. So in a part of my life, I'm naked. Should I run around being myself and being naked all the time? Now, don't visualize this, but should I do that? You would say no. There's some things that you want to hold back. There's some things that you want to keep in your private life and not just lay out there on the line for everybody to see. And this is where we get into the topic that I really wanted to discuss today. This word called diplomacy. Diplomacy. Maintaining a good harmonious feeling among all people who are coming together for the business interaction. And before I share with you a couple of really cool examples from history that I think demonstrate this very, very well, I want to just tell you a little idea that I think is back of diplomacy. You may have heard of the golden rule. You know, Jesus taught in the Bible, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And in this idea of diplomacy, I think one of the things that we want to be aware of is be aware of other people. Be aware of their beliefs, of their feelings, and just be aware of that and make sure that in our effort to be ourselves, we don't stomp on other people's feelings and we don't stomp on other people's beliefs. Maybe there are words that we shouldn't use in our conversation. Again, I don't know for sure. I'm just saying maybe in an effort to think of the other people and in an effort to have harmony in the group, maybe there are some things that we should reserve back and not just throw out there for the sake of, well, I'm just going to be who I am, and if you don't like it, then screw you, right? And I'm not saying anyone's doing this, but that could be what happens if we swing the pendulum all the way to the other side. We want to have this diplomacy in mind, and I want to share with you a couple examples that express this, I think, really, really well. Napoleon Hill. Many of you know I've been reading this book, Napoleon Hill, Grow Rich with Peace of Mind. Fantastic book. A lot of wisdom in this book. Napoleon Hill published it when he was 84 years old. So a lot of wisdom in this book. One of the things that Napoleon Hill says, and I'll just read it to you, he says, one good way to maintain possession of your own mind and to allow others to possess their own minds is to keep certain views to yourself. So on the one side of the pendulum, the one argument is just be yourself no matter what. Well, Dr. Napoleon Hill is saying there might be some things you don't want to just throw out there to everybody, right? Let me read on here. You are not required to go through life explaining yourself, and often it is a mistake to do so. This applies particularly to controversial subjects such as religion and politics. Exposing your views in these matters is almost bound to cause unnecessary conflict. No one knows how I stand on either religion or politics. No one, therefore, can get me riled or rile themselves in regard to my standpoint. So again, Dr. Napoleon Hill, someone might say, well, gosh, Dr. Hill, tell us your views on religion. Just be yourself, right? And Dr. Hill says, no, there are some things that I'm going to keep to myself. And why might we want to consider doing this? Why might we want to consider the other guy, the other gal, when we're on a conference call, when we're making a video, when we're writing an email? Why might we want to consider other people's beliefs and use a little bit of diplomacy? Well, it goes back to what I said at the first part of this video. If you just want to make money and that's all you want, I believe you can be as belligerent as you want to be, and there are other people, and maybe that's not a good term. You can be whoever you want to be without regard to anybody else, anyone else's feelings, anyone else's beliefs. You can stomp all over certain groups of people's beliefs, and inevitably there are going to be some people out there who think and feel the way you do, and you're going to find them, and they're going to be attracted to you, and you'll probably make money. But if your intention is to help the greatest number of people, then you might want to consider being as diplomat or a little bit more diplomatic and saying to yourself, well, let me think about maybe some other groups of people, and even though I might feel a different way, or maybe I might speak a different way, let me speak in such a way, let me conform myself in such a way as to actually speak to many different groups of people and not alienate myself from them, right? That's diplomacy, and what's going to happen is you'll retain your ability to influence more people by not scaring them off. I'll give you a quick little story from my personal business background. I was in a network marketing company last year, and I was doing very, very well. I was the #1 income earner in that company, and I was using a capture page that had the term wussy on the capture page, okay? Had this term on the capture page. And I was the #1 recruiter using this capture page. Well, the company got together and they're like, hey, can you replicate your capture page for the company so that other people can use it? I said, sure. So we replicated the capture page. Other people started using it. Within 24 hours, I started getting complaints from people that I had this term wussy on my capture page. They were offended. They couldn't believe that I would use this word. And my reaction was, hey, listen, I'm the #1 recruiter in the company with this capture page. If you want my results, then you guys need to just, be quiet and use it. And I was like, I'm going to go my own way. Well, and I'm not saying that was right or wrong. I'm just asking myself and you to look at it from another standpoint. With that kind of an attitude of me not really caring how that word impacted other people, I probably lost my ability to influence some of those people. And going back to, if my intention is to help the largest group of people possible, well, maybe, and again, I'm not saying this is right or wrong or this is the last word on the subject. I'm just saying maybe I could have chosen to use a different word and therefore maintained some influence over a certain group of people longer so that I could have been able to help them, right? Just an example. Let me give you another example from history of a great diplomat, from what I know of him, he's a great man. His name's Thomas Jefferson. You may be familiar with Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was the pen of the Declaration of Independence. And I want to tell you a little bit about Thomas Jefferson that I've been learning. Thomas Jefferson, throughout his life, would not allow his views on religion to be made public. And as a matter of fact, I have a quote from him here that I think is really good. He said, "Say nothing of my religion. It is known to my God and myself alone. Its evidence before the world is to be sought in my life. If that has been honest and dutiful to society, the religion which has regulated it cannot be a bad one. Thomas Jefferson. So he didn't throw his views on religion out there. He was diplomatic. And why did he do that? I don't know for sure, but I have a sense that maybe it was because he wanted to help the largest number of people that he possibly could, and he realized that by making certain views public or speaking in a certain way, saying certain things, maybe that might cause him to lose his ability to influence certain people. So, my friend, point of this video, diplomacy. I don't know all the answers, right? I'm not here to say you should do one thing or another in your business. I'm just here to say that it seems to me diplomacy is a word that we might want to think about, and we might want to look at that pendulum of just be yourself no matter what, and you know, on the one side, and then on the other side, you know, this idea that even though we do want to be ourselves, and I think that's a great thing, and we should be ourselves, at the same time, we need to consider, in my opinion, other people. And this is only if we want to maintain influence over the largest group of people. You know, the Think and Grow Rich call. One final example, and then we'll close out the video. Think and Grow Rich call. We don't mention company names on the call. We don't talk about specific leaders in the industry on the call. And why is that? Because in recognizing that there are people on the call, stopping to think about other people, right? Getting outside of yourself a little bit and realizing that we have people on the call from all sorts of different companies, diplomacy says, if we keep this a safe place and we don't use certain terms that might alienate those people and cause us to lose our ability to influence them, then we can retain them in our influence, and over time, we can help them and we can inspire them and we can lift them up, right? Diplomacy. Again, I don't have all the answers, and I may have, may be wrong on a few things I've said in this video. My hope is through this video that maybe you've paused for a moment and just maybe look at your business, look at your communication, look at the things that you say, and look at the things that you do, and just ask yourself, am I being diplomatic in my communication so that I don't run people off unnecessarily? Now, some people maybe need to be run off, right? But if I can retain my influence over people longer, am I speaking and acting in such a way that I can do that? Now, this doesn't mean be somebody that you're not. I don't think it means that. It just means that maybe some things that I would say in a private one-on-one conversation with my best friend, maybe those things might not be things that I would say on a conference call with 500 people. Does that make sense? So, my friend, thank you for watching this video. The fact that you watch this video means that you are a special person and that you do want to influence and help as many people as you can. It means that you're not just concerned about the bottom line, and I want to thank you for that. And I want to encourage you to leave your thoughts down below this video, because we can learn from each other. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this topic of diplomacy. I think it's an important one, and I don't want to forget it. I don't want that balance scale to, that pendulum to swing too far over, and in the process, we scare people off and we lose our ability to help people. So, my friend, this is Paul Hutchings. This has been a video on diplomacy, and I thank you for watching it. Leave your comments down below. I love you, I appreciate you, and I want to challenge you, my friend, whatever you do, never give up on your dreams. Thanks, and make it a great day. Bye for now.